such an asshole.
Hello, children. Yawning Cappy. Whew, long day. It's not over yet. Still have yet to smoke a cigar and sit on my ass. I got to work on the car a little bit too. What is work on a car? What? Have a driver's license and you own your own car? Cash and you work on it too. It was what we did in the past. We were crazy kids back in the day. Anyway, so we have an original request. And if you have an original request, which means you want to pay me, like, Cappy, I'm sick and tired of listening to other people's problems. Talk about what you want to talk about. You could pay for an original. And I don't do that to make more money. I do that to make more money and also because, well, if people pay me, hey, answer my question about my life. Well, yeah, obviously I deal with them first, which comes at the expense of me talking about what I want. But if you want to pay me, then I say, okay, well, you paid me. So now morally and ethically and financially, I got to do what you say. So this guy paid for an original. And just so you know, the best economic work I did was when I used to work in banking. It wasn't because I was in the industry or I worked in banking. It was because bankers are dumb. I'm not even being facetious about them being very serious. Bankers are idiots and very inefficient and slow. And so what ended up happening is I'd have a ton of time to do a ton of research on banking and finance and economics. And the reason I got away with it is because if any IT guy or my bosses were ever to look at what I was searching for on the internet, it would be finance and banking related. Little did they know that I was either banging out a book or banging out some great posts on my blog, et cetera, and stuff like that. So I haven't really looked at a lot of charts and data. And so I was wondering, especially with the increase in interest rates, like what happened going back far enough? What happened with all the money we printed off under Obama, all the money we printed off under Trump for the disease, being intellectually honest and fair, and what happened when interest rates went up? Because the millennials, and not wrongly so, are complaining about the cost of housing. And I said, well, what has happened? I mean, I know nominal prices have gone up, but what happened to the payment? So let me share my screen here. See if I can do this. Is this how I do? How do I do? How do I make it go? No, that's not it. Present, slides, share screen. Let's go here. So here's the share. Is that sharing now? Let me look. There we are. Okay, I'm sharing it now. Look at me go, old Boomer Cappy. So this is the Case-Shiller housing price index. And I thought the higher interest rates would knock the price of houses down significantly. I thought that would have been the cause of the second housing crash within 15, 20 years, because Americans are stupid. You just think, oh, we just lower interest rates and print off more money, then our problems go away. Get off your asses and work, you lazy pieces of shit. That's not very Democrat. Anyway, so I thought, okay, what drove, among other things, money, but interest rates, artificially low interest rates is what drove the housing market up the first time and definitely drove it up the second time to the point that it's reached all-time highs. So, okay, now that the interest rates have more than, I think, tripled, haven't they? Like, was it a 2.5? 2.5? Yeah, they've tripled. They're more. Well, hang on. Let's be official. Let's be fair. 30-year mortgage rates, because you millennials can't afford 15. 30-year mortgage rates. Come on, just tell me what it is. It is, oh, for God's sake. Serves me right for clicking on the first link. 7 point, yeah. So they've tripled. They've tripled. And I thought linear math, this would have knocked it way down by 2/3 logically. And you could see there, it dropped. I don't know. What is that? 2%? 3? Sounds like that's kind of odd. I thought it would drop down more. Well, then I go and I looked at housing starts, which maybe I should have pulled that up. I should have pulled housing starts up. And I saw that, but I also did listen to a podcast with it talking about how after the first housing bubble, crash, a lot of people went belly up. There were a fair amount of self-deletions of contractors. That contractor base is now old and retired, and a lot of builders threw in the towel. And normally, under normal circumstances, if you had real men, real fathers, real families, and you had an honest government and you had honest educators, they would say, I know the past 3 generations have told you to go to college, but that's looking a little bubbly right now. And there's this, they need a bailout. That is not the panacea and the solution it once was for the boomer generation. Matter of fact, it's ruined every generation after the boomers. College has financially crippled every generation. What you really ought to do is go into the trades. But that would involve telling you the truth and breaking your little precious heart. And instead, they just kept doubling down, and they told you millennials, this is going a while ago, and they're telling you Zoomers and alphas the same thing, that you're what I call Jessica and Jason Christ of the suburbs. You're going to save the planet. You're going to save the Africans and the whales and the poor people and the minorities and the women. You're all going to be Greta Thunberg. What you didn't realize is that Greta Thunberg doesn't know how to swing a hammer. I don't know if she could even identify what a hammer is. And there was an article that came out, and admittedly it was BuzzFeed, so how? Well, let's just look it up. Why the hell we're here? All right. No, I don't want that. Twitter. All right. Millennials don't own a hammer. There's some article. Half of millennial dads don't own this essential tool. Reviewed. Oh, here it is. The product experts at Reviewed survey of 2,000 dads found that nearly half, 49% of millennial fathers don't own a cordless drill, or almost just as many, 46, don't own a step ladder. 30 power tools, basic tools like screwdrivers. 38% of men admit they don't have one in their toolkit. Another 36% don't own a hammer. And I know many of you, all of you were told, many of you believe that you were going to strum your acoustic guitar and sing. And if you just sang like First Aid, all the problems of the world would go away, dude. You voted for the pretty black guy called Obama, and then everything would go, oh my God, we're going to be English majors and journalism majors and international studies majors. And then we're going to make the world this perfect utopia. Like, who's becoming the tradesman? I'll tell you who's becoming the tradesmen. The Latinos are becoming the tradesmen. They're the ones that are building it. But not Jessica and Jason Christ. Oh, certainly not for Winnetka or Edina. Ooh, real work? Oh, my goodness, no. I'm more the idea person. So you were all told to go to college. You believed it. You wanted to believe it because you thought avoiding real work like physical labor would somehow, there was a life there. And you didn't create enough tradesmen and carpenters to build the housing supply you needed. Now, don't get me started about farming and farmers. Don't get me on. You guys hate those people because you were told, oh my God, they're flyover country. Mostly are white males. Ooh, boo, bad, boo, boo. They make the food. But you could see it in housing starts, which a lot was that housing crisis wiped out a ton of tradesmen, and they just threw in the towel. There's a lot of critical boomers retiring and retiring early. Maybe not even retiring early. They are getting up there in age. Like, Chad has talked much about how older CPAs are just saying, nah, we're done. We made enough money. But you didn't generate enough real workers in your generation to build the supply of housing that would have brought housing prices down. And so, whereas under normal circumstances, a tripling of the interest rate would have severely dropped the price of houses because demand would have dropped, There's so few houses to go around because you're all a bunch of liberal arts majors and social science majors, and you know how to write a journalism paper. But you don't know how to put up sheetrock, wire a house, fix a car. The supply of housing, even though there was a glut at the beginning of the housing crisis, it came crashing down. Now, some older millennials made off like bandits. I know one couple in particular. They bought a house for a song in a great neighborhood. Oh, they made off like bandits. So there is like some older millennials who did benefit from it, and some younger Gen Xers. But for the most part, you did it to yourself. You didn't. You are now facing the full effect of all the policies. I hate to say this, kids, of the policies you voted for. Because I remember, that's why I found that picture. I wanted to say starry-eyed girls looking up at Obama. I found that picture. So let's go back in time. You were 20. You knew better than everybody else because your teacher said so, and so did your Marxist professors. And you all voted for Obama. Why? Very simply, free shit. That's it. Now, under Obama, you can't. Now, we'll get to Trump later. Under Obama, he increased the money supply by 380%. Why? So he could buy your votes and make you all feel happy, because free money results in houses, right? If we just print off more money, then the houses are built. Forget whether there's enough supply of tradesmen to go around. But you increase the money supply by over 300%. Now, it takes a while for money to circulate in the economy. And I don't mean to get into velocity, but if there's a lack of faith in the economy, which there was under Obama, not due to Obama himself, but he did inherit the Great Recession, people weren't spending their money that much, so that money wasn't circulating. Obama did his 2 terms. We had very sclerotic, meaning slow economic growth, but the money was sitting there. You printed it off. Trump comes along. They all said that the economy was booming under Trump. It was not booming under Trump. It was growing. It was not booming. It's because none of you young people know what a booming economy was, because the last booming economy we had was the early 90s under Clinton, which he had nothing to do with. It was the dot-com boom. And before that was Reagan. Right? So here they are. You guys were excited about 3% real GDP growth. Yay, 3%. But slowly but surely, the economy started gaining confidence. People started loosening their spending a little bit more, and it reinflated the whole housing bubble again, which I'm not going to go into now. Interest rates were low. The money started permeating into the economy. And housing prices did go up, which, by the way, is inflation. I know they say, oh, it's only a gallon of milk and a gallon of gas, a loaf of bread. It's like, no, it's the big ticket items too, namely the number one expense on your personal budget, lodging. So rent and buying a home was going up a lot under Trump. What else? Oh, by the way, what else do you borrow money for? Tuition. They can't figure out why tuition's so high. I are college educated, need bailout. I do. Smartest person generation in world we are. And so Trump comes in, and then we get hit by the disease. And where I greatly disagree with Trump, Trump goes to Obama, says, hold my beer, and quadruples the money supply on top of that, depending on which measure you want to use. And so now the economy is awash in cash, or at least the banks are awash in cash. Obama's money that they printed off, that is now fully permeated in the economy. And then you're all wondering why housing is so expensive. Well, you voted for it. And I want to call this the millennial tax because it's just inflation. That's all inflation. Inflation is a tax. It's a tax on everyone, but disproportionately poor people. And I know all you college graduates who are the most educated. I think that's another thing, is the smug attitude your generation had just really put everybody off to you. We're like, oh, you told us you knew everything at 20. You were Jessica and Jason Christ. You were morally superior to all of us. You know better than all. Well, here, let me show you. You know better than all of us. And here we go. Here's your, am I showing this? Hang on. Let me share. Present. Okay, I got to stop that screen. Now I got to present, share screen, share. All right, is this showing? Do you see that? That's your mortgage payment. Your average mortgage payment going up. What is that? Went for more than doubled. If I can see the y-axis there. You all think you're going to win printing off more money. You all think this little socialism and free shit is going to solve your economic problems. You do not realize that when you print off more money, you didn't increase the amount of stuff being produced. In this one particular instance, housing. And if you all got off your lazy asses and became tradesmen and tradeswomen and carpenters and plumbers and electricians, you know, the people that women in your generation hate to date, they're beneath them. You would have had more housing. Now, if you remember economics, I don't know what type of economics they were teaching you in college, but as supply goes up, prices go down. And it would have directly addressed the shortage of housing that occurred after a bunch of people got wiped out in the first housing crisis. And then also your generation and every successive generation, which in intellectual honesty, you were lied to. You were told to go to college and not become tradesmen or truck drivers. You failed to create enough people to create the housing you need. And whereas I am 100% sympathetic with you because it's true, you were lied to by the baby boomers, you did also vote in the economic conditions for it to be that you could not afford housing. You voted this in. You also chose completely worthless degrees and jokes of professions that were work avoidant, and you besmirched and you did not reward, let alone go into things like the trades, mining, truck driving, etc. You didn't go into the fields that produced the stuff, because while everyone's focused on interest rates and the money supply and blah, 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 which you should be, that's only half the formula. The other half of the formula is called GDP, meaning how much stuff did you produce? So just come with me on a journey, an intellectual journey, if you will. What if instead of the liberal arts majors and the social science majors, okay, if instead of that, you all went to trade school and learned how to build houses? All of you with the liberal arts and social sciences, which is about 80% of college graduates, and throw in business majors. Oh, yeah, business majors, you guys are worthless. You're just jokes. The only business majors worth anything are accounting and IT. The rest of you, I'm sorry, you wasted your time. Let's say you all went and became tradesmen and tradeswomen. You'd have a surplus of housing. Housing would be as cheap as it was back for the World War II generation. You become mechanics, auto repairs, which also cars are kind of expensive now too, right? Paid for by loans. I wonder why they went up in price too. But maintenance and repair, right? What if you could fix your own car? And so you did the two worst things that you could for all your future standards of living. You pissed away your time and money, going into financial debt and crippling yourself for completely worthless degrees, and you voted for idiot politicians who jacked up the money supply, which I admit many of you did not vote for Trump. I will admit that. You are correct, but Trump's an idiot. Sorry, he is. All he knows is debt spending too. But you did the two worst things. You didn't learn any skills to create the goods and services you need to have in an economy, to buy, to actually enjoy your standards of living. And then you voted to increase the money supply. Admittedly, it wasn't necessarily you who voted to increase the money supply, but man, you guys could not get enough of Obama's dick. I mean, you could not suck his dick anymore. And then Trump just did a Trump and printed off more money too, which made a bad situation everywhere. And you did not vote for him. I know that. So you increased the money supply. You didn't replace all the people who produced stuff of previous generations. You don't have as much stuff around. Heaven help you if China didn't supply our shores with imports. What would you think there's inflation now? if China didn't supply us, oh my God. And so I don't know if you want to you're at halftime. My book link below, How Not to Become a Millennial. I talk about it. It's like this is halftime for your generation. You literally shot yourself in the financial foot. You can salvage this like Tom Brady did the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. You could do it. I don't know what else you got to do because you're still alive. I'm not saying you go join the Republican Party, but maybe in the time you have left, you retool and learn an actual skill. Maybe the children you're raising now, you knock it off with teaching them about their pronouns and how they're also the second coming of Jessica and Jason Christ. And you teach them to become tradesmen, carpenters, mechanics, truck drivers, people actually produce the things we need in society. And you prevent them from making your mistake where you're like, oh yeah, go to college. Don't have them ruin their lives like you did. Have the next generation, and if that's not if the moral argument to do that for your children is not enough, may I point out that it is going to be future generations that are paying for your Social Security. And if you would like your Social Security, don't worry, there will be a Social Security check. It doesn't cost that much money to cut a check or digitally transfer money into your account with digitally made up money anyway. That's not going to be the problem. You could get $1 million Social Security check in the future. My question is, what are you going to buy with it? So if you don't train your generation of kids to be productive members of society, I need whatever the boomers you make fun of, and rightly so. You make fun, oh, I don't have my meds. I'll die early without my meds. What do you think's going to happen to your generation when there's not chemists, not pharmacists, not engineers? Hell, delivery people just to show up on time and get the delivery right so you get your life-saving meds. How many electrical engineers how many of you are encouraging your children to go into electrical engineering so that the electricity works, so that if you got to go in for surgery at 76 years old, paid for with Medicare and Medicaid or whatever the hell it is that you vote to have other people's money, what if the electricity goes out? Oh, but don't worry, you're real proud of your daughter who has her master's degree in diversity studies. That'll keep the electricity on. So I don't know, maybe wipe Obama's cum off your face, maybe learn a little bit of economics, but you did it to yourself. And now you get to pay. We all get to pay the millennial tax. Unless you're going to take money out of the economy, which you can do, which comes with its own certain pros and cons. But that's all you did. And free money now. Free money now. Yay, we figured it. We so smart. Why is rent so high? We can't afford the house. It's the boomers' fault. Oh, so there you go. There's your economic lesson of the day. I'm sure not a single one of you listen to it because your politics and feelings are just so much more important. And look where that has gotten you. Let's go to the super chats. Oh, by the way, link below. If you're sick and tired of being poor, if you're sick and tired of not being able to afford housing, there's a couple links down below. Enjoy the Decline, How Not to Become a Millennial. I think Bachelor Pad Economics. Also linked not below was Poor Richard's Retirement. If you want to figure out how to save for retirement, that's on the cheap, which most of you are going to have to. There you go. And then also linked below, though, is Achieving Financial Excellence. And that is the introductory course I have for people who want to start working on their retirement planning. Like you want to get your financial act together. And it starts by rethinking the whole idea of wealth and money. And I'll be perfectly honest, if you're the type, I need a student loan bailout, rent's too high, you probably ought to take that course and figure out what the real purpose and meaning of money is. All right, let's go. Oh, Flamo, hey man, where have you been? Long time no see. $5. I voted for Trump and he gave me this. Go to jail, skunkhead. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Trump. For that, well, a handful of things. I like some of the stuff he did, but man, just like, let's just put off more money. It's like, this is what happens when you have rich kids. And he's the son of a rich man. I know he's rich himself, but you can't have people who have life on easy mode, like Trump, like Trudeau, like the Bushes. The last real president we had was Ronald Reagan. And guess what? He was a hardworking, regular old blue collar guy. Chi-Town Biker, 20 generous dollars. The future belongs to us tradesmen. I'm Latino as well. Yeah. You know the joke, maybe you know, but you share with your Latino buddies. I mean, change the the country. How long does it take a bunch of Mexican roofers to roof a house? They're done already? I like that joke. That's a good joke. And you are. I know people like, oh, the immigration, which I'm against illegal immigration, but I'm like, I don't know who's going to build your houses in the suburbs there, Jessica and Jason Christ. I don't know, Bipsy and Tanner and Yaden and Baden. Who's going to roof your house? Because it sure the hell isn't going to be Tanner and Bipsy. Wiz Division Productions, 10 generous dollars. Everyone laughed at me for buying my 1999 Toyota Camry for $3,000 cash. There you go. There you go. Have you seen the meme? Toyota recalls 1993 Camry because you should have bought something new by now. Suburbanites think I'm a weirdo for doing all my own oil changes. I got the last laugh, though. Tradesmen got them by the balls. Oh, yeah. I've even thought about buying my own tire remover because I'm going to need tires in the future. Man, it's just getting too expensive to go and pay him that money to do it. Myron, fresh and fit. He drives an old Toyota. Maybe, I don't know if it's a Camry, but he drives an old Toyota. He doesn't spend his money on clothes. Guy's got more money than God, but he's smart. He knows what he's doing. Drew, $2. We're from the government and we're here to help. No, they are not. Apollos Overby, $7.50. I'm a sucker for a chart prawn. If you go to my blog, I was all about the charts. I thought, charts will convince people they're wrong. And thus started my dark path down the road of realizing people don't care if they're wrong. They just want to feel good. And that will be it's a demise of the millennials. I feel bad. Well, why don't you try evaluating whether you did the right thing or not? Not more like whether you were right or wrong. I'm always right. Well, what if you're wrong? Why do you hate black people? I'm just trying to get you to stop majoring in journalism. And then also, again, millennial generation and successive generations thereafter. I feel bad. Why don't you go for a run? No, I'm going to take a drug instead. I'm depressed. All right, never mind. I give up. And so I thought charts would be kind of the same thing. Like, oh, hey, look at this. I don't care. I don't know. The number of times, well, okay. Like, what do you mean, okay? I just proved your entire life philosophy and economic system wrong with one chart. Gonna vote Democrat because you're for the little people. How have the Democrats worked for the little people, by the way? I noticed the black community and the trailer parks out here in the Dakotas and the homeless in San Francisco. I noticed in Portland, I noticed these Democrat strongholds where the little people have really just had a comeback with these Democrat policies. Man, thank God for the Democrat. See all those people the Democrats got out of poverty? Jeez. Drew, $2. My net worth is higher than all Tesla drivers. Yeah. Your net worth is higher than zero. Yes. Drew, $2. Been maxing on my Roth IRA is 27.37 now. Good man. Good. Oh, dude, 10 years ago, you got in some good prices on the S&P, assuming you bought into the general market. James S., $10. Taking a look at St. Louis Fed data, the current 30-year mortgage rates are about the same as they were in 2008, but the payment is much higher. What happened, Cappy? Prices were much higher. 2008, you were already in the in the depths. Prices had collapsed by that time. So the payment is much higher because your prices have, money printer go burr, cause me college educated, super intelligent. Shut up if you don't agree with me, you a racist. Those people voted in the people to increase the money supply. And then Trump increases it 3 times on top of that. Johnny Vegas, $10. Wanting to make a career change into being an actuary from IT. Thoughts? It's a lot of math, a lot of statistics. It's good pay, a lot of tests. Is there a reason you wanna leave IT? Is it, like, not for you? I mean, as always, I would take some courses on statistics and, like, an introduction to actuarial science, see if it's for you, because you don't wanna shift gears and find you don't like actuarial science. It pays well. Um, I don't know, but why not make a similar go at IT? And as I said before in a previous video today, unlike accounting, actuarial science, you're working for someone. You don't get to work from home. You don't get to be self-employed. That's not it doesn't lend itself well to self-employment. IT does, but it's up to you. In neither case will the girls come banging down your door. Mark Magana, look at that. Look at your little graphic editing there, Mark. $2. Tenants pissed I'm raising rents, inflation. I'd imagine property taxes also went up. Oh, by the way, for all the know-it-all younger people who keep voting Democrat, you do know that if you vote in Democrats at the municipal level, they're going to raise property taxes. And then the landlords, in order to cover their expenses, including property taxes, need to raise the rents. You also understand that, as happened in St. Paul, when you have rent control and people are not allowed to charge what the market going rate of rent is, then you're going to have less builders, less construction people come in and build the housing to alleviate the housing shortage in these major metropolitan areas. You do know that, right? I'm sorry to inform you that you're pretty worthless economically. I'm being deadly serious about it. Most of you are pretty worthless economically. You don't produce anything of value. You need builders more than builders need you. So unless you're going to like actually go to Habitat for Humanity and start building homes, which you're not going to be able to build in numbers enough to actually have an effect on lowering the cost of housing, you will just create more shortages. It is the producers that matter, not you. Not you moralizers, not you little political people. Oh my God, somebody has $3 more than me, that rat capitalist bastard. I'm passing a law and I'm a professional activist. That's why you live in a tent. It's because of the Republic. It's Trump. It's Trump. We can't afford housing. Well, with the inflation, yes, it is. But you think it's just the evil Republican. Oh, Drew, there I was out. Sorry, guys. My retirement plan is to be a CDL driver. Good. It pays what? Pays better than most college majors, most college graduates. James G, $5. They did a study where they compared FM doctor and trade. What's FM doctor? And tradesman net worth. The tradesman with a business won over FM doctor in the long run. FM female doctor? I don't know what FM is. Yeah, I I I both have a very low opinion in terms of both their financial management, but if you have a tradesman that stays off the booze, does his job, and shows up on time, they can make bank. Bank. Doctors have a tendency to overspend and outspend even their high salaries, so their net worth is not that high. Drew, $2. It's amazing how much money you save with no kids. Oh yeah, tell me about it. I can actually eat. I can afford food. Did you know that without kids, you could afford the insurance premium on your home insurance when your house is destroyed? You can afford these things. You can afford a new set of tires and it doesn't like, oh, it's going to break the bank. You know what people should do? You should all, this is for Generation Alpha, you should have as many kids as possible with as many people as possible and just throw your hands up to the sky. And if the money doesn't rain, if it doesn't shit money out of the sky, you blame the Republicans in the Senate. Don't get a skill or a trade to make. I can't wait till the farmers die off. I don't know what the rest of the people are going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I just wonder, like, don't Don't 4-H, those are squares. Don't teach kids agriculture. No. Oh. Generation Apollo, $5. How you doing, buddy? So glad I learned about auto body repair as a hobby. Really comes in handy for keeping my 20-plus-year-old truck from falling apart when you know how to weld. Absolutely. Yeah, my truck is looking a little long in the tooth. Little long in the tooth. Oh, but Generation Apollo. Welding. Oh, he's a welder. Don't get me started about the lack of cheerleaders on the sideline cheering on generations of men to do something manly, productive, and worthwhile to society. All those younger girls. You better be a Democrat. What, a lazy piece of shit that collects a government check and has a worthless, unemployable degree? Really? That's the economy you want? Those are the men you want? Oh, gross. A mechanic. Oh, I want an investment banker. Johnny Vegas, $5 again. Want to leave IT to actuary because I just like math and want more work-life balance. Digging that Superman bag. Superman bag. You have their Superman bag? Oh, people were worried about this. They were emailing me. There's the garter. The garter's bag. Superman bag. I got Cowboy Bebop. I got a Battle of the Planets lunchbox. I don't have a Superman. Bang. Dang it, that's Superman. Oh, the bang. Okay, I had my hat on. Never mind. You confused me. Mark Pagania, $5. Also, sorry about your Xbox, PC, etc. You convinced me to look into. Oh yeah, guys, get lightning protection. Get a lightning rod. Get lightning. Get surge protectors. Get it. It looks like everything has been repaired and will be fixed, and most of the insurance will cover everything. Oh, by the way, today's donations go to the insurance deduction. Like all of them. It's not bad, but it's just like, thank God I had insurance. But yeah, do get lightning protection for your house because it's the time. It's a pain in the ass, just a pain in the ass. All right, that's it. I will see you guys later. Link below if you want to change your life and not waste the second half like you did the first. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.